And diplomatic efforts by Nigeria to get justice for 31-year-old Temitope Ariwolo has now yielded results. The domestic worker who was barred by Lebanese authorities from boarding a Mercy flight en route to Nigeria has finally arrived at the country. She is now in the shelter of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons. She was accused of stealing her employer's phone, an allegation which later changed to murder. An executive director of Rescue Africans in Slavery Organization, Omotala Fawumi, joins me to share her views on the issue. Good to have you join us, Omotala Fawumi. Now, Temitope Ariwolo's story is just one of the many stories of Nigerian ladies and girls we hear about in Lebanon. And why do you think that this situation has been on the rise in recent months and in recent weeks?
I would say, thank you very much. A lot of Nigerian girls have actually been going to Lebanon for, not just Lebanon, but the Middle East for years. But I think that the reason why we have the spotlight on Lebanon now is because sometime earlier in the year, there was a viral video of a young lady who was cried out and said, well, you need to save me, my employer is bullying me, I'm being threatened and have she has sexual advances from her employer. So I think that moving in that direction, the Nigerian government and all the relevant agencies have begun to look at Lebanon and see what can be done to make sure as many girls as possible return. But it's a terrible state out there in not just Lebanon, but across the Middle East. Several Nigerian girls are going in that direction to find jobs. Primarily, a lot of them say they're going for economic reasons, but then they get sucked in to worse than they bargained for.
Okay, so basically you can't stop people from traveling, but the thing is, instead of waiting for these ladies to cry out, because most times we hear that, oh, someone has cried out and then they've been saved. But instead of waiting for them to cry out, how do we first of all curb the movement of Nigerian girls and ladies from Nigeria to Lebanon? And how do we also ensure that those who are there and in this situation are brought back?
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very good question. First, I want to mention that one way to curb it would be to regulate the travel agencies. A lot of these people are recruited by people they trust. They are recruited by family members. They are recruited by trusted clerics. They are recruited by people they're very close to. And so what happens is they don't ask the relevant questions. Where am I going to work? How much am I going to get paid? You know, what's the name of the city? They don't ask the critical questions. And because they don't ask those questions, a lot of our girls get sucked into what I would call a slavery contract. Slavery contracts like working for $100 or $200 a month, and working sometimes 16 to 18 hours. That is a slave contract. So it's ignorance. What can be done? There needs to be massive, what I would call advocacy at the grassroots level, because from our data at Rescue Africans and Slavery Organization, we find out that a lot of these girls are for Lebanon, primarily from a particular sector of the nation. They are recruited from the interlands. They are recruited from the less developed states. You know, so yes, we do have quite a number from Lagos, but we have the bulk of them from states like Osun, Ogun, Oyo, Ondo, Ekiti, and all the way up to Edo, from the data of number of girls that we've been able to work with in the last 6-7 months.
All right, so one of the challenges is sometimes when you bring people back into the country, we've seen that with Libya, the Libya returnees, most times, you know, some of them end up going back, you know, and through the same process. So when we bring these ladies back from Lebanon, how do we engage them in a way that they don't have that desire to leave the country through illegal means or they are not deceived again by these travel agents?
Yeah, thank you. That's a very good question. I think that the real reason why they left was for economic reasons. And if that is not fixed, they would go again. So they need to get jobs. I would counsel that the government has a proper rehabilitation and reintegration plan for the girls when they return. So it's not enough to bring the girls home. The girls need to go through things like trauma counseling. They need to go through a form of rehabilitation because they have been abused physically, mentally, and emotionally. But beyond that, they need to transition through that healing process now to the main reason why they left, providing jobs, economic opportunities, trainings, something that helps them earn money. If you listen to a lot of them, our conversations are around, I went because of my child, I'm trying to raise money for my family. Someone told me that this was a better opportunity I would have rather than what I have in Nigeria. So it's really about creating an enabling environment, even for those who have skills, because a lot of them also have skills. We have those who are hairstylists, who are tailors, but who were told they were going to do these things there and arrive into them become slaves. So it's creating an enabling environment for economic activities to thrive. If that is created, I think a lot of them will stay back.
Executive Director, Rescue Africans in Slavery Organization, Omotola Fawumi, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.